We're here at MAERSK Oil and Bob Alford joins me now. Bob, tell us a little bit about how has business been in the region for you for the last year, since we talked last year.
Yeah, it's great to be back at ADIPEC, and we're really seeing some increased momentum at the show this year. And as it grows, there's also an increased driver for enhanced oil recovery, which fits well with what MAERSK Oil is trying to bring to the region. So we're really pleased to be back and seeing a lot of interest in our technologies and some of the options that we bring to Abu Dhabi and even to the other countries here in the Gulf.
Tell me a bit about the Trigen. It's quite a fascinating looking operation there, but tell us just where you're deploying it and what are you doing?
Yeah, Trigen's a real crossover technology, so it comes from the space industry, and it's things like that we're trying to bring into this knowledge economy, and really to bring these high-tech things into the energy industry is what we have to do in order to deliver these goals and the vision of Abu Dhabi 2020, both in terms of cleaner environment and the 70% recovery goal with low-cost CO2. So this is what we kind of have to do, is look around even in the medical industry and as well to find these advanced technologies which we can now then deploy in the energy industry.
And of course the energy industry, it has to embrace technology. This is the only real driver for the future. Tell us just a little bit about some of the other technologies that you are looking at, or just in general technology for the industry, really moving it forward.
Well, especially with as we're moving from the era, as we call it, from easy oil to more difficult oil, as you see the wave of unconventional, it requires much higher sophistication in the terms of how we exploit and recover, maximizing the recovery of hydrocarbons. So one of the things is 4D seismic is what we're using a lot these days as well. And as you start getting into enhanced oil recovery, you really want to see where the value is of what you're injecting into the reservoir. So you have to trace where those polymers, where that CO2 is going, and understanding how it's moving through your reservoir and sweeping to maximize the recovery of hydrocarbons. So that's all kind of has to be put together in a more intelligent oil field, as we call it, for the future.
It really is the smart oil field that's coming on board. Talk to me a little bit about some of the regional work you're doing. Abu Dhabi, of course, being a really important base for you, and beyond there, what work you're doing in the region.
We're also growing in Iraq, in particular in Kurdistan, and we're now in 3 concessions there. And we feel that's a very important growth region for MAERSK Oil. And we're also looking around potentially at entering other countries here if there's an opportunity that arises. But Abu Dhabi is our focus here for this office at MAERSK Oil.
And of course there's some new projects coming online with Abu Dhabi too. ADNOC really sort of pushing the limits out there in terms of recovery. On the gas side as well. Are you doing anything in the gas side?
Not exactly, but one of the things that we do with Trigen is basically by injecting CO2, we free up gas for the shortage of gas here in the Emirates. So we think that's a really positive step to change from gas injection to CO2 injection, getting free gas for different industries, and then also maximizing oil recovery because CO2 is more efficient in achieving enhanced oil recovery.
And that indeed one of the focuses, the Director General talked about that specifically in his speech today about freeing up that gas and using that. Are you very encouraged by the work that's going on here with ADNOC in terms of them taking the lead here in the region?
Yeah, I think there's both the regulatory and government support for the cleaner environment and CO2 capture, but it's also these putting these big, bold goals out there of the 70% recovery, and I think that now gets help from basically needs industry to support that goal that the government has set, and together we can kind of in collaboration achieve that goal. But you have to kind of like say we're going to the moon and then figuring out what are the steps to take us there. But yeah, we're definitely encouraged. I mean now the announcement of El Rayada, the joint venture between Masdar and ADNOC, I think that's another positive step forward, and that by kind of merging the carbon capture world with the enhanced oil recovery world is what we need to do to deliver some of these projects and really start taking steps to delivering that high oil recovery.
Well, now you've obviously been talking a lot about that with many of your customers here. I'm sure they've been quite fascinated with the technology you've got in place. What else are the customers here looking at, and how busy has it been this particular ADIPEC?
Well, there's actually an interest in kind of the whole different business sectors that we bring as MAERSK. And so we've been explaining a bit about the group, both in terms of even drilling, shipping. We're a $50 billion a year conglomerate, and so we bring more than just a typical oil company. And so some of those things, even our training division is now starting here in the UAE, and so they can offer training on high pressure, high temperature drilling and different things like that. So that's one of the things we're finding is people haven't fully maybe understood what the MAERSK group can bring.
Just quickly on that training, just talk to me briefly about that. I mean, this is something that is desperately needed in the industry, and I'm sure will be very, very welcomed too. But what are you going to do with that? That's something that's going to be available not just for your own people. You'll be working with ADNOC Group and with the industry to move the training forward and improve skills.
Well, I think there's a as we talked into getting the higher tech into our industry, there obviously has to be the training to support that, and the knowledge economy, and we're also working with the young ADIPEC to promote science careers in young people, and I think that's been a very big success here in this event. So we're pleased to be a part of that.
And of course you were one of the main sponsors in the event too, and we saw the government minister and an awful lot of the kids very excited about what was going on. How important is it that MAERSK get very involved, like at that level, for young ADIPEC?
I think it's critical because I found it myself, even when I was in school, I didn't realize all the career possibilities that were out there in our industry, and there has been even a perception that our industry wasn't maybe the best career choice, and Google stole away those young talents. So we, as we look at the shortages in our career, in our industry rather, we're hopeful to try to stem that tide and bring people back into our industry. It's also in particular getting the talent in the females and the women in our industry is I think something that we need to work harder on, and just explaining what kind of career options that we have, because we do have some pretty interesting career choices for young people today.
Super. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on what you're doing. We'll tell them all to come visit you. Thank you so much.
Thank you kindly, yeah.